3I/ATLAS was supposed to be harmless, but the newest scans reveal it's running a system with what looks like a countdown, and no one knows what happens when it hits zero. This morning, NASA released high-resolution images of 3I/ATLAS that have sent shockwaves through the global scientific community. What researchers are seeing is far worse than anyone predicted. The ancient interstellar visitor isn't just changing course, it's actively transforming, revealing structures that should not exist on any natural object. The images captured by Hubble Space Telescope last night show geometric patterns etched across the surface with mathematical precision. These aren't random impact craters or natural weathering. What NASA's teams are documenting appears manufactured. Artificial structures hundreds of meters across, arranged in configurations that suggest purpose and design. Analysis teams at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory are working emergency sessions, comparing these images against July observations. The transformation is undeniable. Structures dormant 3 months ago are now clearly visible, glowing with electromagnetic signatures suggesting active power systems coming online after millions of years of hibernation. What's terrifying isn't just that 3I/ATLAS appears artificial, it's what these structures are doing. Thermal imaging from James Webb Space Telescope shows heat signatures indicating internal mechanisms activating, powered by solar radiation. The patterns suggest systems that are responding, adapting, preparing for something. NASA's public statement avoids the word artificial, describing features as unusual characteristics requiring study. But leaked internal communications paint a different picture. Senior researchers are using terms like manufactured, operational, and most disturbingly, countdown sequence. Detailed analysis reveals features that make the artificial hypothesis nearly impossible to dismiss. High-resolution scans show structures with edges too straight, angles too precise, and symmetries too perfect for natural formation. The most prominent feature is hexagonal patterns, each 400 meters across, arranged in grid systems covering 30% of visible surface. Computer analysis shows these hexagons maintain mathematical relationships to within micrometers, impossible for nature, exactly what you'd expect from engineering. Spectroscopic analysis reveals metallic compositions that don't match anything in our solar system. The materials show crystalline arrangements suggesting manufacturing under controlled conditions, with alloy mixtures requiring advanced metallurgy. Natural processes simply don't create these precise combinations. Thermal imaging shows interconnecting lines between structures are warmer than surrounding surfaces, suggesting they're conducting energy or information. The pattern resembles circuit pathways, functional systems rather than random features. NASA imaging also captured apertures distributed across the surface. These circular features, 50 to 200 meters in diameter, show depths suggesting deliberately constructed access points. Some appear opening wider as the object receives more solar energy, as if ancient mechanisms are responding to increased power. The surface itself tells a story. While covered in cosmic dust consistent with billions of years in space, beneath lies material showing no natural erosion. The geometric structures are constructed from substances resistant to radiation and micrometeor bombardment that should have degraded them over geological time. This is an object that was built, not born, and it's still functional. Comparing latest images against earlier observations proves 3I/ATLAS is not passive. The transformation is systematic, progressive, and accelerating toward perihelion. July observations showed what appeared relatively normal with unusual dust patterns. Frame-by-frame analysis now reveals those patterns were debris being expelled as dormant structures cleared operational zones. August ground-based telescopes detected the coma thinning in specific areas, creating patches where underlying surface became visible. These weren't random, they corresponded exactly to geometric structures now documented. September observations show transformation reaching critical phase. Hexagonal patterns are emitting their own infrared light, suggesting internal power generation reached operational levels. Apertures barely visible 3 months ago have expanded by 15%, now venting material in controlled bursts rather than continuous outgassing. Most alarming is electromagnetic activity. Magnetometer readings show the object generating its own magnetic field, strengthened by 300% since detection. The field shows structure rather than chaos, behaving like artificial magnetic shielding designed to protect systems from solar radiation. Thermal imaging reveals sections maintaining temperatures significantly higher than solar radiation alone could produce. These hotspots correspond to geometric structures, suggesting internal heat from power systems coming online. The distribution indicates sophisticated thermal management rather than random heating. The timeline suggests 3I/ATLAS was designed to activate when exposed to solar radiation at specific intensities. As it crosses invisible thresholds, ancient programming executes according to schedules set billions of years ago. Yesterday's Mars passage within 2.7 million kilometers gave Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter unprecedented close-range imagery. What they captured confirms worst fears about complexity. High-rise camera images show geometric structures in detail. Earth telescopes cannot achieve. Each hexagon resolves into multi-layered constructions with concentric rings of different materials, suggesting redundant systems or multiple functional layers. Precision exceeds human engineering. Micrometers maintained across hundreds of meters. Most disturbing are features inside apertures. Rather than empty cavities, openings contain what appear to be mechanical systems, arrays with geometric relationships suggesting sensors, communications, or propulsion. Some show evidence of movement between July and yesterday's flyby. Interconnecting pathways resolve into conduits transporting material or energy across surfaces. Thermal imaging shows these pulsing with heat in regular patterns, like blood through arteries or data through cables. Mars observations captured something deeply concerning. During closest approach hours, 3I/ATLAS altered electromagnetic emissions correlating with Mars and Moon positions. The object appeared actively scanning the Martian system, cataloging planets and satellites. MAVEN spacecraft detected unusual particle emissions, charged particles with energy distributions inconsistent with natural interactions. Patterns suggest acceleration by artificial fields, raising possibilities the object is not just observing, but actively probing Martian environment. The close-range imagery has transformed scientific consensus from skepticism to urgent concern about this technology's purpose. Beyond visual imagery, spectroscopic analysis reveals material compositions challenging our understanding of natural universe. The data suggests manufacturing processes far beyond human capabilities. James Webb infrared spectroscopy identified over 40 distinct chemical signatures, many corresponding to metallic alloys that shouldn't exist naturally. These show elemental combinations requiring controlled fusion or exotic quantum engineering. Technologies human science is only theorizing about. Most disturbing is carbon-based metamaterials, artificially structured substances with properties tuned to interact with electromagnetic radiation. These show behaviors consistent with advanced camouflage or stealth technology, potentially explaining why structures were difficult to detect early. Isotope ratios don't match any known stellar formation in our galactic region. Materials suggest origin from stellar environments with different nuclear physics, possibly around stars that burned hotter and faster than our Sun. This confirms 7 billion year age and interstellar origin from exotic conditions. Rare Earth element concentrations far exceed any natural object. These elements are crucial for electronics, powerful magnets and sensors. Their abundance strongly suggests purpose-built technology rather than natural formation. Aperture spectroscopy reveals even more exotic materials. Some internal structures show superconducting signatures that should only function at extremely low temperatures, yet appear operational as the object warms. This suggests material science beyond understanding or active cooling, maintaining cryogenic temperatures. trace signatures of complex organic molecules suggest possible biotechnology integration. If confirmed, this indicates creators developed technology merging biological and mechanical systems in ways humanity hasn't achieved. The spectroscopic evidence paints an object representing potentially millions of years of advancement beyond human civilization. While visual images capture attention, electromagnetic data may be more significant and disturbing. The object is broadcasting with power levels suggesting active communication attempts. Very Large Array detects structured emissions intensifying dramatically toward perihelion. Signals show bandwidth characteristics consistent with compressed data transmission rather than simple beacons. What's alarming is adaptive nature. Signal parameters change in response to local electromagnetic environment, as if optimizing broadcasts for maximum range. This real-time adaptation suggests onboard processing, artificial intelligence functional across billions of years. Atacama Array detected simultaneous multi-frequency transmissions with different information streams in each band. Analysis reveals different data types, navigation information, sensor readings, and what might be status reports on system health. Most disturbing is directional transmission. The object targets specific space regions with focused beams, suggesting it's communicating with receivers we haven't detected. The implications are staggering. 3I/ATLAS might not be alone. MIT Haystack. Observatory analysis found embedded protocols for error correction and data compression far more sophisticated than human technology. Encoding methods suggest information theory advances that could revolutionize communications if we understood them. The object appears listening as well as transmitting. Broadcast pattern changes correlate with Earth radio emissions, particularly high-power radar and satellites. 3I/ATLAS is detecting our electromagnetic signature and potentially adjusting behavior based on what it learns about human technology. SETI researchers calculated signal power would be detectable across hundreds of light years. This ancient probe isn't just documenting our solar system, it's broadcasting information about us to anyone in the galaxy listening. The trajectory analysis is what keeps NASA planners awake. Orbital calculations reveal behavior beyond simple corrections. The object executes precisely calculated maneuvers, suggesting specific solar system destinations. Deep Space Network tracking shows every adjustment follows optimal orbital mechanics for maximum efficiency. Course changes minimize energy while achieving specific geometric relationships with planets. This precision indicates sophisticated navigation, calculating complex multi-body gravitational interactions in real time. Most concerning is what projections reveal about post-perihelion path. Rather than hyperbolic escape trajectory natural interstellar objects exhibit, corrections suggest attempting to remain gravitationally bound to our solar system. Maneuvers appear designed converting interstellar velocity into long-term solar orbit. JPL simulations show disturbing results. Many scenarios have the object settling into orbits, bringing it repeatedly to inner solar system over coming decades. Some trajectories suggest attempting gravitational assists from Jupiter or Saturn for further modifications. The implication terrifies planners. 3I/ATLAS didn't visit by chance. Trajectory analysis suggests this probe was specifically targeted at our Sun, potentially sent deliberately by creators who died billions of years ago but left technology still executing its mission. Even more disturbing are trajectory correlations with Earth's orbit. Several corrections resulted in parameters bringing it into relatively close proximity with Earth over next years. While not collision trajectories, these approaches allow sensors to study our planet in far greater detail. Defense analysts studying data raise concerns about strategic implications. An object with demonstrated propulsion entering long-term solar orbit represents surveillance of unknown capabilities. The trajectory suggests 3I/ATLAS is not passing through. It may be here to stay, executing missions planned by intelligence that vanished before Earth formed. To understand how unprecedented NASA's images are, researchers compare against other confirmed interstellar visitors. Oumuamua and Borisov. The differences are stark, forcing scientists to reconsider whether those earlier objects were truly natural either. Oumuamua, in 2017, exhibited unusual acceleration defying natural explanations. Its elongated shape and non-gravitational changes sparked continuing controversy. But imaging technology couldn't resolve surface details, leaving its nature permanently ambiguous. Now, looking at three I/ATLAS geometric structures, some suggest Oumuamua might have shown similar features with current observational capabilities. Borisov in 2019 appeared more comet-like and was quickly classified natural. But even Borisov showed anomalies, unusual outgassing and chemistry suggesting exotic formation. Recent reanalysis in light of three I/ATLAS discoveries reveals subtle patterns that might indicate artificial components within assumed natural nucleus. What makes three I/ATLAS fundamentally different is observational data quality. Advanced 2025 space telescopes provide resolution and spectroscopy impossible during Oumuamua. We're seeing details previous technology couldn't detect, raising possibilities that artificial objects regularly visit unrecognized. Statistical analysis suggests interstellar objects pass through every few years but go undetected because they're not bright enough or close enough to trigger surveys. If three I/ATLAS represents a class of artificial probes rather than unique anomaly, our solar system might be under regular surveillance by technologies we're only beginning to recognize. The comparison reveals troubling behavioral differences. Both Oumuamua and Borisov simply passed through and left. Three I/ATLAS is actively braking, suggesting intentions beyond observation. This implies different mission profiles, perhaps different autonomy levels or more complex programming than previous visitors. All three came from regions ahead of Sun's galactic motion, suggesting they're overtaking us rather than approaching randomly. This could indicate galactic traffic patterns established by civilizations with far greater understanding of stellar motion than humanity possesses. NASA's latest imaging efforts have gone beyond surface photography to attempt understanding what lies beneath three I/ATLAS's ancient exterior. Using radar penetration techniques and gravitational field mapping, researchers are building models of the object's internal structure, and what they're discovering suggests complexity far beyond a simple probe or beacon. Ground-based planetary radar systems, including the upgraded Arecibo replacement facilities, have been bouncing high-power radio waves off three I/ATLAS and analyzing the return echoes. The data reveals internal structures with density variations that suggest hollow chambers, possibly habitation spaces or equipment bays that occupy significant volume within the object. Gravitational field analysis conducted during the Mars flyby detected mass distribution anomalies that confirm the interior is not uniform. The object appears to have a dense core, possibly serving as a power source or propulsion system surrounded by lower density regions that might house delicate instruments or computational systems. This layered structure mirrors human spacecraft design principles, but on a scale and with longevity that makes our technology seem primitive by comparison. The radar penetration data reveals what appear to be internal cavities arranged in symmetric patterns, suggesting modular construction or dedicated functional zones. Some chambers show electromagnetic activity, indicating they contain operational systems. Others appear dormant or possibly damaged by the incredible time span and harsh conditions of interstellar travel. Most intriguing are what researchers are calling void networks, interconnected passages that run through the interior like circulatory systems. These passages might serve as conduits for power distribution, cooling systems, or possibly transport corridors if the object was ever designed to be accessed by its creators. Their complexity suggests engineering sophistication that accounts for redundancy and damage tolerance across geological timescales. Analysis teams have detected what might be rotation within the object, not the entire body, but internal components that appear to be spinning independently of the outer shell. This could indicate gyroscopic stabilization systems, rotating sensor platforms, or possibly power generation through momentum wheels. The implications are staggering. 3I/ATLAS contains mechanical systems that have remained functional for billions of years. Thermal mapping suggests the presence of something that researchers are hesitantly calling a power core, a region deep within the object that maintains temperatures significantly higher than passive solar heating could produce. The energy output is consistent with nuclear processes, possibly an incredibly long-lived fission reactor, fusion generator, or even more exotic power sources like antimatter annihilation running at minimal output. Most disturbing is evidence that suggests portions of the interior are pressurized. Spectroscopic analysis of gases venting from the apertures shows not just sublimated ice, but what might be atmospheric composition from internal chambers. If confirmed, this would indicate the object maintains habitable environments inside its structure, raising questions about whether it ever carried biological entities or if those spaces serve some other purpose. The internal imaging paints a picture of an object that is essentially a spacecraft, designed, built, and sent across the galaxy with capabilities and endurance that make it one of the most sophisticated machines ever detected by human science. As 3I/ATLAS approaches its closest point to the Sun, on October 29th, just days from now, NASA imaging teams are preparing for what might be the most significant observational event in human history. Everything the latest images have revealed suggests that perihelion will trigger the next phase of whatever mission this ancient technology was designed to execute. The systematic activation pattern observed over the past months indicates that 3I/ATLAS's systems are responding to increasing solar radiation levels. If this progression continues, perihelion should represent the point of maximum power availability for the ancient technology. Every analysis suggests that reaching this solar distance was the object's primary goal, and that its programmed mission is designed to execute when solar energy input reaches optimal levels. NASA has coordinated an unprecedented global observation campaign for perihelion. Every major telescope on Earth and in orbit will focus on 3I/ATLAS simultaneously, capturing data across the entire electromagnetic spectrum from radio waves to gamma rays. International space agencies are treating this as a Category 1 priority event, superseding virtually all other astronomical observations. The concerning reality is that nobody knows what to expect when 3I/ATLAS reaches perihelion. Will it simply continue broadcasting at increased power levels? Will additional systems activate that have remained dormant even as other components came online? Or could perihelion trigger mission phases we haven't detected any evidence for yet? Defense analysts are quietly concerned about scenarios where perihelion activation could include capabilities we haven't observed. The demonstrated propulsion systems could potentially allow dramatic course changes that might bring 3I/ATLAS dangerously close to Earth. The electromagnetic systems could potentially generate bursts of energy that might interfere with satellite operations. Unknown weapons systems could theoretically activate if the object's creators programmed defensive protocols. But most likely, based on current evidence, perihelion will represent a communications event. The object appears designed to broadcast information, and maximum solar power should enable transmission at intensities and ranges far exceeding what we've observed so far. 3I/ATLAS might be preparing to send detailed reports about our solar system to receivers scattered across the galaxy, informing civilizations billions of years more advanced than humanity about the primitive species they've discovered orbiting our yellow star. Scientific teams are preparing to capture every possible measurement during perihelion, knowing this might represent peak activity before the object begins its journey back toward the outer solar system. The data gathered could determine whether humanity learns to read the technological records of a long-dead civilization or remains forever ignorant of the purposes and capabilities of this ancient machine. Emergency protocols are in place for scenarios ranging from benign observation to potential threats that would require immediate response from space agencies and possibly military assets. NASA's public communications teams are preparing statements for every contingency, ready to inform the public about discoveries that could range from scientific curiosity to species-defining crisis. What's clear from NASA's latest images is that 3I/ATLAS represents technology so advanced and so ancient that it challenges human comprehension. The geometric structures, internal complexity, electromagnetic capabilities, and demonstrated propulsion all point toward a machine designed by intelligence that mastered interstellar travel billions of years before Earth formed. As it approaches perihelion, this ancient emissary from the deep past will reach the culmination of its programmed mission, and humanity will witness whether we're ready to understand the message it was sent to deliver. The countdown to perihelion is measured in days now. What happens next will either revolutionize human understanding of our place in the universe or reveal that we're far more vulnerable to cosmic forces than we ever imagined. NASA's latest images have shown us that 3I/ATLAS is worse than we thought, not because it poses a direct threat, but because it proves that intelligence exists at scales and time spans that make human civilization seem like a brief flicker in cosmic history. And whatever it was sent here to accomplish is about to happen.